Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG.bet.
Hello everybody and welcome back. We're jumping on into map number 2 between NOM and NASR. This is of course coming into it a 1 map advantage for NOM hyphen. That's a hyphen, right? I hope it is. As NOM have found a 16-12 victory on their opponent's map pick, now they come into a map called Dust number 2. This map is a little bit more pug-centric. You're going to see a little bit less tactical play and just more aim star style play rewarded, shall we say. Molotov goes through over towards the car, and we're not going to see Nerds getting all too much. And now we got to see if Infernal and Sensor can clutch, or just Infernal, towards Long. As a flashbang goes out, so too does the Peak, and so too does Nami. He's out of the server for now, at least. As Infernal, gets flashbanged by his teammate. Smoke down, won't allow a peek on the back of it, so a little bit of wasted utility. Infernal not able to pick up that kill, is eventually dealt with, leaving it all onto Hydrez. To pull off a 1 versus 4 clutch is not within his reach. As it is going to be 1-0, NASR walk away with at least an opening round. We saw this go awry, though, previously, where NASR were able to swing... NOM were able to swing back into it and find themselves a very good half. Even despite losing the pistol, the second round was dominant from them. They did lose it, ultimately, in round number 2, but they found 4 kills in a bomb plant. This time, though, NOM are playing a lot less aggressive. Coming into it with all USPs, nothing invested. Bu boosting his teammates up above is going to be lit down to 4 HP. That angle is known to NASR, and although his teammates successfully cross middle and find themselves safely towards the B bomb site, he has lost a lot of HP for his troubles. Now with NASR realistically guaranteed a round win, shall we say. I mean, look, USPs can cause upsets, but this seems incredibly unlikely. We should see them group up and hit a bomb site. Oh my god. I'm actually so sad we didn't catch that from Bu's perspective. What is going on? He strafed out of short, bunny hopped around, strafed in a circle behind his opponent, and knifed him. Bu's having a good game. That's the smoke criminals playstyle within him coming out. Just absolute disrespect towards his opponents. That's a big yikes, is all we can say about that. Hydrez shouldn't last too much longer. With an AK in hand, I'm surprised he didn't decide to go and save it. I think that probably would have been our I think 2-0 as a start, it's not too much to give over. NASR realistically should be finding themselves a pretty solid start. Like, all things considered, if they win this round, there's no money for NOM. You got to take into consideration the fact that obviously they're on the T side of Dust, so it's not crazy to see them walk away with a decent start on the T side, but I think it's kind of necessary. Just considering how the previous map went, we saw NOM coming into it very early on, after going down in the pistol round pretty dominantly too. So ideally we would expect and hope for NASR to maintain composure and find a victory, you know, at least 4 or 5 rounds up. Get them a little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum built. That was my hope. But what's just happened there? But evidently that's not the way that life is to be. He had his knife out, so he pressed E on it, and it just refused to pick it up. But, you know, whatever. It's cool. It's cool. The push towards B grants an opening kill at least as Bu goes down. It's a 4v4, but do they check up close? No, they don't! Again, they're gonna fall to an angle not being checked. Nerds able to pick up 2, and the spacing was okay this time. It wasn't terrible. The bomb goes down, leaving Breaker caught over towards the scaffolding. Zenser's watching it. He spotted him jump up there. The bomb is dropped in the window, and obtaining that's going to be very difficult. Doesn't turn in time away from the flashbang, but neither does Breaker. What is that? NASR had the round within their grasp twice. They didn't check scaffolding, but then they find it. They take too long getting the bomb back over. They don't throw the bomb far enough, or it doesn't roll the right way. See it how you will. And then Infernal's able to wall bang the player trying to pick up the bomb. Breaker's caught out, flashbanged by his teammate. This is not going according to plan for NASR, and this is what I didn't want to see. Rounds just stolen from their grasp early on. This gives NOM even more confidence and momentum to work with. And they are not a team that are in need of any more confidence as is. Bu spamming through the door with an M4 isn't going to deal too much damage. Considering one of these CTs is pretty low as well, it could get a little bit scary. But most likely we're going to see NASR fall by the wayside in this round. A few pistols and a scout is always a very nice buy to see come through because it gives you a lot of potential. But you're looking primarily at that scout to get the damage done. And so far, NOM have just been so dominant, I suppose, just in general. They've given so few opportunities over to their opponents. And this is becoming very reminiscent of the previous map at this point. Kazoo goes down as you would expect, a 1v5 with a scout, not quite going to go his way, into a 2-2 scoreline, and NOM at this point, obviously they're miles ahead in terms of positivity, momentum, and confidence. Also looking back at the previous map, individuality seems to be a little bit more in their court, combined with the fact that they're playing so well as a team. Rather, I already said as individuals. But as a team, they're also having a fantastic time, and so it becomes quite difficult now looking at things to expect NASR to walk away with that W. They have 2 maps ahead of them. Neither of which is, by the looks of things, going to be very fun. So, taking a look at things, a man at disadvantage in play for the CT side. Nertz is getting a little bit aggressive towards short. A P7 in hand. I'm going to see if he can catch somebody pushing on through that smoke, or as it dissipates, and Breaker may be in a little bit of trouble. Smoke begins to disappear. Breaker, okay, the first couple shots missed by Nertz, but is eventually going to be eliminated. AK-47 in hand, swinging back towards the bomb site. That reload's very risky and very poorly timed. NASR, no! No, they're leaving A. A's just been opened up for them. They're going to throw a fake smoke, though, which should hopefully drag a couple players back over. But knowing that Kazoo's already on this bomb site with the cross smoked... Oh, I think this is actually really smart. So the fact that they've thrown the smoke late towards A has now given them an indication that, okay, they cross smoke on B. Now we know they're B, but they're throwing utility on A, so it's probably going to be a fake. The problem is they have no smokes to throw down on the cross as they go over. They lose Kazoo on the B bomb site. There's still 2 players here. And although it could have worked out well if NOM had a full rotated, they've been a little bit cautious in terms of those rotations. They're not over-rotating in the previous map, and they're certainly not doing it here. And once more, this is just like... So we saw, alright, to break that one down, we saw a very similar situation in the previous map where they went towards A, they found a kill, then they went down to B, they faked it, and then they faked A, and then they went A after faking A, if that makes sense. If you were watching, you'll recall. If not, just ignore that part. It seems like NASR are really, really indecisive on the T side as to what they're going to do and where they're going to go, and it's like playing poker for the first time and trying these really crazy bluffs. It's like you're not there yet, evidently. I think you take things from a more strategic, a slower approach, and just focus more on the basics, pushing together, playing as a unit, and making sure that you're able to trade, because so far that's where most of the flaws have been for NASR, not in terms of the tactics. As I'm talking, Havoc is shredding them with that scout, but eventually he's going to be eliminated, leaving it over to another pretty positive position for NOM. Now, they do lose 3 players, but they've plenty of money to work with, so it's not too bad. So I feel like just in general, it's a lack of direction, a lack of game plan, I suppose I would say, which I expected to see from NOM, if I'm being honest. Coming into this, I haven't seen their new lineup play. And just knowing that it's a new lineup and there's a lot of individuality there from what I saw at Unique Stars and Smoke Criminals from View, I thought this would be maybe a little bit of a disaster on Overpass, if I'm being honest. I thought those 2, they would probably have a really good chance of winning, but Overpass could be very scary for them, first time playing it officially, etc. But that's not the case at all. With Inferno falling here, at least NASR pull it back into a decent position, now a workable one as they find a 3v3. Workable, maybe even favorable. Moving towards the A bomb site, they've got their direction now. Let's see how they play around it. Nertz is out towards long, but he's on 18 HP, completely isolated. Dodges the flashbang, nice shot onto the head of Kazoo, followed with the body shot, leaving it into a 3-on-2. The bomb planted for short, though, does present NASR with the positional advantage, as now NOM are going to have to attempt this retake. Coming up behind on short, though. Surely this is being watched by Breaker. Indeed it is. The scope of the AWP is heard, and now this becomes very, very difficult for Hydrez to find the kill. Oh my god, no! I don't know how Breaker missed that. I think he moved just as he shot. It looked like it was on him, but just about missed. And so a defuse is very much possible. They're able to prioritize the AWPs as well, easily saving these weapons forward and leaving it into a 5-2 scoreline. If this was Overpass, I'd say, hey, it's not too bad. Some of these rounds have been kind of close. They're finding 3 kills in the last 2 rounds, at least keeping the economy somewhat modest of NOM. But the problem is they've already given them a pretty decent economy to work from, so they won't see any benefits from that until they win rounds. And also the fact that NOM are on the CT side of Dust 2. Not a side that's particularly advantaged, and so far they've lost the pistol and still walked away with a 5-2 lead. Now, they did this on Overpass, and we quickly saw NASR pull back into it and manage, I think, a 7-5 scoreline. But that does seem less likely here. First of all, they're on the T side, where we've definitely seen NASR struggle the most. And it's Dust 2, a map that NOM seem to just be better at, and obviously they picked it, but the way that they're playing right now, even take the teamwork out of it, they're playing better as individuals, and I feel like this is going to be the downfall for NASR. The fact that individually, although they're not massively behind, they're putting themselves at a huge disadvantage because of how slow, not necessarily slow they play, but because of how just crazy they play. Often finding themselves being picked off one at a time by players that, with the correct spacing, with the correct the timings really on separate pushes towards the bomb site and splits, they should be able to walk away with victories in. NASR are taking it slow this time, and this is where we've seen some of their more successful rounds. The problem is they have no information. They're not selling any fake info either. They're just going to hit a bomb site slowly and allow NOM to kind of sit around and the clock work even better in their favor. That smoke, I mean, look, you're faking that you're going to push towards the B bomb site, but it doesn't do a lot for you. The A players are still going to be there. They're not going to start any form of rotation on the back of that weak utility usage. And again, I feel like this is NASR just overthinking it. Now, they haven't smoked the cross as they come on through on short, giving a lot of opportunities and angles for NOM to work from. Even still, though, that shot onto Infernal puts them in an advantageous spot now into a 2 versus 2. The tactics may not be the way that they found the victory, but definitely the way that they found the advantage in the round is the individuality, the shots hitting, the duels going their way. And will that continue to happen? As a retake is underway, Bew gets up and completely unspotted. Nobody's aware that he's there. Hydrez even wins the super long-range battle onto Kazoo. Do you, Kazoo? Oh, yes. NASR do. But unfortunately, they don't find the rounds as it's 6-2. NOM are flying ahead. They've picked up 2 ops once more, carry them through to the next round. And you'll see the rifles make it into the hands of the other CTs relatively cheaply. I really do feel like at this point, it's just every round that goes on, it seems like structure and just the tactics they're rolling with right now are too advanced. They're thinking way too much about their opponents, playing out of their comfort zone perhaps, but certainly in far more of a tactical nature than they need to. Overthinking, to put it simply. This time, though, as they come out on long, just a straight, hey, let's rush A long with flashbangs over. Well, it works out for them. They find themselves a man advantage to work with. But now this is where they struggle. It's at this point of the round that they struggle so much. Initially, they have direction. They have an easy... I feel like it's mid-round calls that just aren't there. Whether it's the IGL calling them or whether it's more of an issue with the team understanding or executing them, I'm not sure. The smoke coming over towards A, so it is evidently going to be an A hit. Now the plan is to fast rush it. 3 players coming out, and oh my god, Infernal! He shuts it down. The one time that they actually do it... Oh? Okay, it's a 1v1. The one time they do it well, Infernal manages to get the wallbang. The collateral kill. But Breaker pulls it back. 2 very nice shots connected. And now into a 1v1. This 1v3 clutch is definitely possible. There's an AWP him firm to pick up. And indeed, he's found the kill with the AK, saving the op thereafter. A very nice round from NASR. The only problem that you would pinpoint with it is that it's not a repeatable affair. You can't expect a player to pull off a 1v3 again and again. You've got to have it as a more consistently repeatable round, right? You're finding 2 entries, you're pushing a bomb site, you're trading, not... Okay, everything falls apart, but then this one guy saves the round. Kazoo is the one to open this one up, though, finding himself a kill with the AWP to start us off. And pop them into a position where they can definitely swing on back into it, onto the T side. Get the rounds on the board and make sure that it's not going to be a horrendous situation for them. So the push towards B is going to see somewhat of a split. Oh no, the push in middle has not worked out well. I don't know why Hydrez feels the need to push in through the tunnels, perhaps suspecting that NASR have fully committed. Pew goes down to a spam. I don't think Kazoo even saw him. Oh my god, Nami takes another. NASR are looking like a whole different team, and one thing you can notice, they've stripped it back. They're playing more basic. Let's push B. Let's throw some smokes, throw some flashbangs. And this is NOM... you know, being overwhelmed a little bit. They're not used to this. They're used to being almost gifted rounds by misplays on the T side. NASR, I think they've definitely adapted well in the last couple rounds, last 2 rounds, to just playing a little bit more instinctive. Now, Infernal's able to save over the AWP, but the economy isn't fantastic, so the CTs call a timeout to decide what they want to do. I don't know if they really want to swing into a full buy here, though. That wouldn't be a great idea. There is a delay on the stream, by the way, so responding to you guys isn't really possible, but just a comment. NOM's mid-round is so good, though, for a team I've never heard of. Well, calm CSGO. This team, you would have seen them before for sure, though. Bew played on Smoke Criminals with one of the Irish guys, Laney. Infernal and Hydrez, I think, are from Unique Stars, the Israeli team, question mark. I'm fairly sure, if I'm remembering correctly. Obviously, this too is an Israeli team, but I just mean that Unique Stars were entirely Israeli as well, I think. Hydra and Zensor are unknown to me. I'm just going to double check. No past teams for Hydra. Zensor, none either. So I'm not sure. They're obviously just from the local Israeli scene that they've noticed playing around some local tournaments not covered by HLTV. But definitely a team that has potential on just those 3 players alone. I know they're all very strong individuals. I've seen a lot from in the past when I've done the likes of the Middle East qualifiers. NASR, a team that I've also seen before, of course, but right now they're definitely looking a lot weaker, really. taking a look at the buy that they've decided to go with, NOM haven't got a lot to work with. It's the AWP that's going to be the cornerstone of the round, already landing the opening onto Breaker. But now that they know where he is, they should be actively trying to avoid him. The fact that the bomb is still dropped towards A, though, and there's a short push, means that it's probably not the case. Putting us into a bit of an awkward spot as they push into the op. This is the strongest bomb site for the CTs right now. They've only got a P250 over towards middle, and outside of that, it's just USPs. Infernal flashbang lands that shot. The flash fades just in time, but eventually the peak comes through from long. He had too many angles to watch and wasn't able to come out on top. An AK retrieved by Bu, though, after the top mid kill grants them somewhat of a small opportunity. This guy's a really strong individual player, and without armor, it's a really hard fight to win, but he comes out on top versus KitKat. Loses too much HP, though, so decides to bail on out of there, which, again, I stand by that decision. I think it's definitely the right call. Bring your AK forward to the next round. Even going to try and save the op would be pretty difficult. Fair enough, Com. But yeah, no, I've seen quite a bit of these guys from doing the Middle East stuff, and whether it was, I think I did Cologne ? Also Asia Minor, and these guys were I've definitely seen of them. Obviously not on the NOM lineup, on Unique Stars, on Smoke Criminals throughout Europe, and then Smoke Criminals were a European team, I'm pretty sure, based and competing within, and then NASR I've also seen a couple times going through the Asia qualifiers, although I don't think they've ever made it very far. From what I remember anyways. It was quite a while ago. So looking towards what is going to be round number 12, NOM at this point are starting to struggle a lot. I don't know what's going on with Auto Director. It's decided to just die, or maybe not, as action did come in over towards B. You drop the bomb. Eventually falls. So now into a 2v2. This is a situation where NASR are trying to hold on. They've not got the bomb planted yet, but it is safely retrievable and indeed plantable. At least you would hope. Not able to find the kill, but it is going to be Infernal trying to pull off a 1 versus 2. Swinging in towards the double doors. Nice damage connected on the Breaker. Now Kazoo up close hasn't been spotted, so this could be a little bit of a problem. Oh, he's heard dropping down, though. Now Infernal has all the information he needs to work with. A kid in play as well. It's definitely going to be possible to pull this off, but not able to land it in the end. It is going to be the 6-6 scoreline, as Kazoo finds a 3-piece, and again, a really solid round from him. This recovery from NASR is pretty unprecedented. I mean, they're playing just so much more instinctive, so much more individual, and it's working out for them. So NASR this time spread out a little bit more. They've left their op towards top mid. They're going to be pushing towards B with Kazoo. KitKat going down through underpass. And this is making me a little bit worried. Because when they spread out, when they play this more tactical game, that's when we see them fail. But not going to land all too much on the CT side as Bu takes down. Okay, it was getting scary for a second, but it's only Bu left. He's picked up the AK-47, but realistically, what should he be able to do? 1v3. The bomb in spawn. Oh, no. Oh, they're sending KitKat alone to pick it up as well. But, oh, Bu wasn't expecting it. Pulls out his weapon in time to find the kill. This is such a hazardous round. NASR losing the bomb control. Bu knows they're going to go get it. He's creeping towards B, hoping the players are coming in from there, but that's not the case. You can see that they're over towards A long, making their way in through the spawn, where they're going to pick up that bomb and make it on out. Down towards the bottom of the middle. Oh, what a shot! Good night, Breaker! One tapped! They have no idea where Bu's gone. This could be really scary. Havoc, he's looking towards middle. He has no idea if it's middle, tunnels, or short. It could be anywhere, but short seems like the least likely. Could he have jumped up on top and made it over there in time? Well, that's what Havoc has to decide. He's checking up close. He's checking his corners. 30 seconds left. Bu waiting on A for anybody to show themselves, drops down, and Havoc's going to be able to find the kill. 6-7, but my god, Bu made a hefty effort. I'll put it that way. There's also a problem, just to highlight, in the Middle East regions. Every time I did the Middle East qualifiers, everybody asked me to open the scoreboard so they can see the ping. It's actually a huge issue where some parts of the Middle East, they have to play like one map on their, so like their map pick on your server and your map pick on their server, so that the ping is like evenly terrible. This is a bit of an awkward round though. NASR have already fallen a man behind with Nami pulling that into high-res. It's still not going to be enough, but luckily that smoke down in CT gives them access towards the B bomb site where they should be able to get that bomb planted. Leaving one to lurk out, Breaker's going to try to cut off rotations and stop anybody from peeking towards the doors and taking Nami down. They know Breaker's close after the smoke going down, but he bails on out to regroup with his teammate, and they can take this as a 2v3. This is a pretty reasonably advantageous position for NASR because they're on the bomb site, they're by themselves in a 2v3. You know, NOM are very far away with majority AWPs. Now they've switched over to a second AK, but time is pretty low. You're still, you know, at a pretty big disadvantage going in towards B with the man advantages. It's not a hugely positive spot. Well, maybe not a disadvantage, but definitely not an advantage. It's an awkward spot to play from. There's so many choke points. Infernal takes down Breaker, and they're going to just go for the defuse. Nami has to push out through that smoke to try and find his kill. He finds one, but the defuse is still underway, and he's not able to stop it. Infernal gets the round just in time. A very ballsy play, and although he falls in the end, it's still going to be 7-7. And NOM, look, they needed that round. Now in 7 rounds, at least they can only lose 8-7, right? It's not going to be the worst in the world, but I think NASR, they've really impressed me, and their CT side has constantly been their better situation, I suppose. Their better spot to play from. Their better side. I just don't want to say the CT side is their better side. It's too much. Their better faction. That's what I should have went with. Oh, they hear the nades hitting off the feet of their opponents. KitKat's easily able... Yikes. KitKat's easily able to pick up 1, 2, and then even almost a third onto his teammate. Why not? It's going to be a 4v3 as Infernal picks up Breaker, and low HP on KitKat. This could very quickly flip over. NASR need to be careful not to throw this round away. So 7-7. NASR have made a little bit of a play towards B earlier on. Now they're going to look to get that execute in with 50 seconds left. They have to decide if they want to hit B. It looks like they do. They should see a relatively easy situation develop as they push on through, as nobody's there, so it should be a 3v3 retake. Nobody's even spotting it. NOM have made the gamble. And then they kind of need to, right? Because you've got a player, it's Infernal sitting towards the car. You need to keep control of short so that he can't be pushed down from the bomb site, leaving him to only worry about long and CT to an extent to make sure his teammates aren't flanked. But now as they realize it's going to be B, the retake has to come through. Not a spot that's easy to work from. Oh, the spams grant a decent amount of damage towards Bu. The utility, I mean, that flashbang thrown out a little bit early. Now NASR don't really have, they don't have any utility to work with. Nothing to flashbang their opponents with. Let's see if they can do it with the bullets, though. A Zensur's going to pick up one on the KitKat. Havoc just keeps on peeking up, picks up 2. And good night and sweet dreams, NOM, as Nami finds the final kill. It's going to be a round advantage and a decent spot to work from. This is not what we expected to see, I suppose, coming into this, especially not with a convincing start. But thanks to some phenomenal performances from NASR in those later rounds and the abandonment of any of their crazier strategies, they found themselves ahead. You can see now on the odds that it's going to be 1.24 still towards NOM. They're looking like the stronger team once more. But the way the odds have been playing out, I'm not sure if that's going to be entirely accurate, I suppose. Like, it's a weird spot. NASR have certainly shown the potential to pull it back, and so many of the rounds have just been lost by crazy individual plays as opposed to a lack of individuality, I suppose. I definitely wouldn't say that this is beyond recovery for them. In actual fact, the odds are wrong. Let me throw them up again. So there's the thing. Second map, total rounds correct is 1.79. We're swinging on into the Pistola, though, and we're going to see Havoc trying to land himself something with the USP. He gets one, and inside the smoke, the spams are just going down. It's easy peasy. NASR now looking a lot better, although they've had success in pistol rounds and then fallen apart thereafter. It might not be thereafter that we have to wait for, though, as Nertz already picks up one. He's going to creep over towards short and see if he can land one more kill on the board. Breaker's low HP, so NASR do have to be a little bit cautious. As although it's a 4v1, it could definitely get out of hand very quickly. Long range up against the USPs. I mean, what do you expect Nerds to be able to do? Coming in with the Glock, 15 seconds. This situation is almost irrecoverable. He tries to reload by dropping the weapon, but still only 9 bullets in play. 8 seconds. They just have to delay time, but even just go for the fights and come out on top. 9-7. NASR come ahead. They find themselves a decent spot once more, but we've seen it, right? We've seen it go 10-7 in their favor, and then it just be pulled all the way back by NOM, with NASR finding 1 or 2 rounds here or there. Now, that was their T-side overpass. This time, CT side, look, it looks a little bit better for them on both maps. Dust 2, I think, though, is going to be somewhere that they could fall victim to a couple of the problems, I suppose, that we've seen them suffer from in the past. For example, NOM being better individually, playing better in terms of the aim duels now that they get to take them on their own ground, and indeed the fact that NASR have time and time again been cut off by their own strategies more so than by the enemies. Nade goes through and does decent damage. Nertz again 1v5. He's only got a Glock. This time against armored opponents with SMGs, not going to go too well. Havoc gets 3 kills with the UMP, so plenty of money built up for him. He's able to pick out the AWP right here and now. And the investment from NASR is surprising. I thought that they'd play this round as a bit of a bonus. Whatever weapons they had coming into it is what they'd play with, and then they'd invest in the next one should they lose this. But they decide to buy the AWP, leaving Havoc with no money. Indeed, Nami dropping over and getting his utility back up. He's on 1450. That's, I think, supposed to be a jump throw. I'm just gonna guess. Jump come... Sensor, you cool, bro? He just got completely blinded by Havoc, like 100% blind. It was in his eyeball, leaving him to do nothing but stand in the corner and wait for death to inevitably grasp him by the neck. As it's into a 5 versus 3, NOM again fall behind. This is a great opening round for NASR in the bye. If they can continue in this kind of manner, we could definitely see a third map coming through. Nami takes down Hydres, and they know there's a player close left on mid, so Infernal doesn't last too much longer either. Leaving it all onto Guess Who. Guess Who has to pull off a 1v5. I'll wait until it's over. It was Nertz, and he wasn't able to do it this time either. 3 opportunities in a row to get himself on Reddit, and each time he failed. Although we expect him to, of course. (11-7). NASR come in with another opening kill. It's Infernal taken down now. A pivotal part of the offense of NOM in the previous map. This time is going to be taken out right away. Of course, only a couple of upgraded pistols to come through. Armor on view. They're getting very aggressive, and okay. This is why people don't use the Tech 9 Hydres. Go on into your inventory between maps if we end up on a third and change that out. He's going to be finding a kill at least, but I feel like that's all that's going to be really landed here. The AK in hand. Okay, maybe not actually. I could be very much incorrect about that. AK-47 on Hydres finds another opening kill by taking down Breaker. Now into a 2v3. That retake is difficult to work with, but luckily the bomb isn't down yet. Granting an opportunity for NASR to catch them off guard as they pick that bomb up. But a retake with an op is never ideal. The problem is that it's pretty ideal for holding things. For example, a bomb dropped in the open that can now just be watched with that scope and is almost irretrievable. As Hydraz peeks up on top of the box, he falls on down pretty quickly. Nami's even going to go in for a further follow-up kill and finds it with a 4-piece in the round. But even still, I feel like the damage done there was definitely decent for NOM, better than I expected. So the potential builds up as we move into round number 20. Now, NOM so far, I mean, we haven't seen anything from their T side. Dust 2 looked really good to start it off, but once again, things were pulled back by NASR, this time on their T side. We've seen them do it on their CT, actually being stronger when the buy rounds came out, which was contrary to popular belief, I suppose. Man, I saw someone say Nami was having a slow day. I mean, he obviously heard you. He's woken up on the AWP, my god. Another opening kill in the round, followed up by Breaker, low HP 2 on Bu, but he still finds one kill. The man is a monster, dropping down towards the box, being covered by Infernal for the peek on middle from an AWP. That smoke does obscure his vision significantly, though. I thought Nami was going to shoot. That would have been insane. We're certainly looking towards messy strategies. You got to be careful here on Infernal. There's a player up close on short. He's not able to land a whole lot, though, as he's taken down very quickly. And Nam even gets the wallbang headshot, as you do. Zenser has made his way onto A, but unfortunately for him, he hasn't got the bomb, which will cause a couple of problems for him. With 45 seconds left, they have heard him, right? I assume they've heard him. He's going to go all the way towards top mid, though, and peek down with the AK. See if he can catch someone off guard. Spotted by the op, though. Nami again on a 3-piece. He's on 21 kills right now. And you can definitely pin him as one of the big reasons that they're doing so well. NASR relying on individual performances, but definitely finding them. Well, we're 13-7. NASR are definitely looking a lot better, you have to say. They're far surpassing my expectations of them as we come on to Dust 2. Oh, the spam on the Bu connects at least a decent amount of damage. NOM on... Look, there's 7 rounds on the board. They haven't got a lot of economy. Even in this round, they've had to take out a scout as their scope. Breaker's taking down Infernal and looking for more. Infernal's not been having a good time towards middle. He's been picked off time and time again, it seems. Nice shot going to be connected. Nami again on the AWP. I mean, he's having such a good game right now. NASR are firing on all cylinders, and it looks like NOM are starting to cool off significantly. Nert's going to regroup with his teammate. They're going to see if they can pull off this 2v3, but no matter where they go, they're going to face combat, and especially towards middle, where Nami is again sitting down on the AWP, and another 3-piece. What's going on? 24 kills on the board, and we're going to take a quick glance at ADR. 103, consistently involved in every single round on that op. This is becoming a little bit scary. NOM wanted to finish it off here. Really, this is where they stood the best chance, but right now, NASR are making this certainly look a little bit unlikely. They're on 14 rounds already. Flashbang going out. Nami's going to go in for a re-peek even on the AWP. Doesn't find that, though, and this time it's about time to back off. Backing off out of there makes it safely towards the bomb site. As Nami finds another on the Hydras. This is just going to be them running into that AWP again and again, isn't it? They try to bait him out, don't really follow through on the back of it, though. The scout tries to set up and connect the kill, but it's not going to happen. I think Nami wanted to flash himself in, but realizes that there's no potential to do that, as he's only got a smoke. Knows that the scout is still towards long as well, and it's kind of unlikely that he's going to be there by himself. Possible, sure, but he's going to suspect some players pushing up close. Zenser manages to walk out on top of that engagement, though, and cross to the bomb site. They know now there's a player closer. Breaker even still is able to pull off that kill. Havoc takes it on the bomb site. And again, this should be a very swift end of the round, as NASR have such a strong economy built up. And my god, I thought that the real problem for them would be as we swap over to a non-tactical map, that they would get torn apart as individuals. But that's not the case. Even still, though, you have to take into consideration that Dust 2... when we started the series out, looked like it would be better for NOM, but based on how we've seen NASR play, when we move over to Inferno, a more tactically based map again, where you can definitely play a lot of mind games with yourself, we could see a lot of problems develop for NASR. Just from a tactical perspective, that's how they lost map number 1. That could be how they lose map number 3. But right here and right now, we've seen Nami once again open it up, taking the op pick onto Infernal, who's... let me double check on the HLTV scoreboard, but I don't think he's been doing all too well for opening kills, despite being a really impactful AWPer, and definitely really impactful in the previous game. Yeah, he's now 2 for 2 on opening kills. That will be 2 for 3 now, and indeed there it is, just updated. 2 for 3, as we've seen him fall in middle once more. And all the opening duels he's lost are on the T side as well. He was actually positive 2 for 0 at the end of CT. Bu left all alone, 1v4, and we're not even too worried about it because it's over very quickly. And just like that, we finish things off. Now it's 1.84 for round 26 winner. Well, we know how that went, huh? We'll fly the odds away. Moving over to the next map, we're going to take a look at who's going to be the more favored team, because right now I feel like I'm kind of siding with NASR. We saw them come into this with a little bit of a weaker performance than we expected on map number 1. But moving into Dust, this is where I thought NOM would walk all over them, but really recovering it even towards the end. Because when we started it out, those first couple of rounds, it looked like NOM are just going to walk away with this. Like it was going to be a 16-5 or 16-6 scoreline. But all of a sudden, we really quickly see NASR adapt to the fact that their strategies are what are really screwing them over and start to play a little bit more loose Counter-Strike, which is usually not what we'd advise. But it certainly worked out for them. A little bit more of a fours approach to the game of just getting in their opponent's faces and winning the duels. It works out for them. And now as we move over to the next map, this is where we could see a lot change for NOM. It's Inferno, so it does play into the tactical aspect a little bit more, where we've seen, or well, a lot more than Dust does, where we've seen before a lot of problems develop for NASR and a lot of positives for NOM. But with the level of individuality NASR just brought, and the AWP player Nami that was really stepping it up for NASR, this could be a really awkward spot. Because, I mean, Inferno in general, look, it provides a couple of angles for an op. Not quite as much as Dust. I think he's going to have a little bit less versatility in how that op is used. But we could certainly see a lot coming from him if he's left unchecked. We're going to take a quick break anyways, as I said, guys, and we'll be back in a few. Make sure to stick around. Pop on over to gg.bet if you want to be involved with betting for the next map. And if not, just sit right there, enjoy a little bit of music, and I'll be back in just a minute with map number 3.
Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with gg.bet.